Good morning.
Fired up today.
We are glad to see you all. This is our regular business meeting of the Scott County Fiscal Court. It is the 10th of December. Time is marching on. Call this meeting to order. I'd like to ask any and all to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Wallace, would you lead us?
Absolutely. Let's pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to ask Stacy Hamilton to call the roll.
Mr. Hostetler.
Present.
Mr. Lyons.
Here.
Mr. Wallace.
Here.
Mr. Corman.
Present.
Mr. Ellison.
Here.
Mr. Livingston.
Here.
Mr. Marshall.
Here.
Judge Covington.
Here. With that said, we'll move to number 4 in our agenda, the minutes of our previous meeting as presented. Are there any questions or comments related to that? Motion from Rick Hostetler to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
A second from Chad Wallace. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 5, transfers as presented in your packet. Any questions, comments?
Motion's approved.
Motion from Kelly Corman.
Second.
Second from Dwayne Ellison. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving to 6, bills and hand checks. There is one hand check that was added. Tammy's T-shirts, $275. Any questions or comments related to that? Motion from Rick Hostetler.
Second.
Second from David Livingston. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 7, let the record reflect that Sheriff Tony Hampton submitted in the amount of $2,732,490.49 in property tax fees. And our treasurer steps to the mic to add.
The sheriff's fees were approximately $22,974.
Could you repeat that one more time for the record?
Is that the exact amount?
$22,974.
$22,974.
No change.
You moved rather quickly to that microphone. I appreciate that. Next, number 8, let the record reflect that Rebecca Johnson submitted in the amount of $171,321.59 in clerk fees. So, any comments or questions on either of those? We'll move to number 9. I'll ask Corey to step up and address the EMS surplus item on our agenda.
Good morning, Judge,
Good morning.
magistrates. We wanted to surplus 2 LifePak 12 monitors. They're very old units. They're not serviceable any longer, and there's no real monetary value to them. And what we want to do after we surplus them is then donate them to BCTCS, who's starting a paramedic program. For us, there's no use for these anymore. So,
And that was part of the reason we bought those new life packs.
yes, so that was the big reason, because the new life packs, actually, this is a unit generation before the last ones we had. So this goes back to 2003 is when these monitors were purchased.
Questions or comments?
Make a motion.
Got a motion, got a second from Dwayne Ellison. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The item number 10 has been removed from the agenda. There's another aspect going on there, and will not require the travel. And then number 11.
Judge, didn't you mention number 9, the EMS new hires? Oh, okay. I might have
You got
a
an
different
old-
agenda.
I think the old-
You got the old,
Okay. I'm
old
sorry.
version.
My fault.
That's okay. Corey, if you'll stay up and make any comment, but Jeff's going to speak to the EMS new hires.
Yes, Judge Court, thank you. On behalf of Chris Runyon and Corey Wood, I'm pleased to recommend the appointment of 5 new individuals in EMS. 2 of them are full-time. The first is Madeline Williams as an advanced EMT with a starting pay of $13.59, and Jacob Underwood as an EMT with a starting pay of $11.99 an hour. In addition to that, we have 3 part-time people. David Parkulovich as paramedic. The pay rate for him is $14.54. Whitney Hall also was a part-time paramedic at $14.54, and Morgan Rogers is an EMT at $10.51. The 2 full-time people will begin work on January 3rd, if that's correct. Yes, sir. That's the plan, the first day of the year. And then the part-timers may begin work this month, but we'll just work them in when they get paperwork in when the need arises. So I present those 5 individuals to you for your approval.
Questions, comments, and I know where you're going.
Yeah, go ahead then. What's that do for your staffing?
Where does that put you?
That puts us at 100%. So once they all on board, we have one other gentleman that's coming January 3rd that we had hired, probably last meeting I think it was.
It was, yeah.
And he'll be starting that same day. So with those 3 full-time people, we'll be at full staff once they're in.
Great.
Any other questions, comments? Motion from Rick Hostetler, second from Kelly Corman. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 12, it asks John Ward, Chief John Ward, Fire Department bid for self-contained breathing apparatus and cylinders. If you'd share information related to that.
Yes, sir. Thank you all. Starting off, we formed a committee of our membership to put together to look at, what we need to go out for bid. They made a recommendation, brought that recommendation back to me. We put it out for bid, and then we had one bidder. The bidder came back because we had the bid plus we had options built into the bid, but it come back at $550,680. We do want to option in 20 additional 30-minute cylinders for a price of $16,002, which will bring that total cost to $566,880. One of the things we did option in on the bid as well is it's a fuel station compressor unit. Ours is over 20 years old. The only concern we have, not necessarily that we have a Mako system currently right now. The system that was bid was an Arctic. We just want more time to research on that. So we're really not coming before you today to ask, for approval on the purchase of that. We just want to make sure if we're going to purchase that, that's going to be a good system to hold up and give us the amount of years that the Mako system did.
And, originally, we had budgeted over 700.
680.
Was it 680?
680, I think is what it was, yes.
And, this is coming in under that. So,
Correct.
Once you all, that'll be under $30,000, won't it?
Yeah, I think the option on that was 45 or so for that
Was it-
system.
Was it 45?
Let me look real quick. Yeah, it was 47.5 is what that system was. Again, that's an Arctic. We haven't, like I said, I don't know what, say, if we wanted to replace what we had with another Mako system, but I would assume it'd be somewhere near there.
I would just ask you, once you all decide, to come back and
Sure.
present that
Absolutely.
request and,
Yeah.
and approve it. I know that that's a critical piece.
It is.
And, I think this speaks to the court's commitment to supporting our staff with the best equipment that we can put
Yes.
there for them, and just the health and wellness of our staff by doing this and making this type of a commitment on a purchase. I think it shows the court's committed to our staff. So
Yeah, this is a big purchase for us. Again, our SCBAs are a very vital piece of equipment for our guys. not only their fire gear, but that's what allows them to go into these IDLH environments. So
And
it's a
you know,
very important piece, and it's,
we did our due diligence and made that application for the AFG.
Right.
And was not successful, but, you know, putting this in the budget, I think was the right thing to do, and I'm very
we
proud that
appreciate
we're.
that very much.
What's that?
We appreciate your all
well,
supporting that very much.
It's the right thing to do, and I'm proud that our court makes a habit of trying to do what's right for our community and our staff. So, what other comments or questions does anyone have related to this?
What was the total number that were the,
Approving today,
yes? Because I know we talked about a couple
It
of
was-
things. and-
566, 880.
880.
Thank you.
That's with option in 20 additional 30-minute cylinders on
And, and once they complete their research, they'll come back on that compressor.
yeah, in the field station.
Chief, is there any value to the existing cylinders that we have? Like, is there any trade-in value with 911 fleet, or will these just eventually just be surplus at some point?
Well, actually, they'll get to a point where we'll have to get rid of, destroy them, because they have a 15-year lifespan on them.
Okay.
You know, we pretty much test them every 5 years, but when we get to that 15-year mark, so basically, these cylinders that we're getting in this bid will just be added to our inventory, and that, because what we've been trying to do.
You just move them out?
Yeah, what we've been trying to do is every year purchase like 10 or 20 cylinders. That way, you don't get to a point in time where you're having to replace a bunch at one time. So you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
they hit that 15-year lifespan, and you got to destroy them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just destroyed, really? They don't have any type of plan to reuse them anywhere, like a refit?
Well, not that I know of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah.
I think we
It's wasteful.
junked them last time.
Huh?
Do what?
We had to junk them last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Dwayne Ellison. Is there a second?
Second.
David Livingston.
There you go.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Judge and Court.
Chief,
Thank you.
we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
21st of December, 4:30.
The fruit graduation, 4:30 at the library. So any of you all want to attend?
Put that on your
Well,
calendar, your dance card.
Thanks for reminding me.
So, no,
Yeah,
What was the time on that?
4:30,
And you said at the,
Scott County Public Library, yeah.
that will greatly enhance our
Oh.
staffing.
I can't wait till the 18th to come.
Is there 8,
9.
9? So just, 9 people added.
Because along the way, we've had some people retire and resign, so those, we're able to put those people in, in this class.
So they're coming down the home stretch. They can see the light at the end of the training tunnel.
And I'm ready for it to be done. To get
right.
them on the truck.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, we'll glad to have them on board, fully trained.
Will you start a new group up right after that, or will that?
Once these come online, we'll be full staff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we may look at going ahead and starting the process to open up, just,
It
to
takes so
plan
long.
ahead. Yeah, we're 14 weeks, once we hire somebody day one, we're 14 weeks to get them out of recruit class.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any other question for Chief? Thank you, sir.
thank you
You
all.
want him to?
Do you want to do this?
Oh, yeah, you'll stay for that.
Yes.
I was going to share, and I shared this by email, but I would like the court to approve a grant application for AFG grant, Assistance to Firefighters grant. And we had discussed previously the backup generators. However, the cost-benefit analysis did not come back in favor of that grant moving forward. So with that said, the focus that would perhaps maybe most benefit our agency is doing a grant application for, and I'm trying to find the exact title of that,
The AFC for the.
Direct Source Capture Exhaust Systems.
Yes.
John, could you share with the court the importance of that?
Yes. With the different carcinogens and all the cancer-causing stuff that potentially could come out of a diesel exhaust, like every morning those guys are out there in the station starting the truck up, and they're doing the truck checks. The driver is, plus the guys are going around making sure all the equipment's there, basically doing the morning daily truck check of that truck. Part of the truck check is starting the vehicle, running it, turning the lights on, make sure everything's operational. So during that time, those guys are basically breathing the fumes of the exhaust coming out of those power engines. Right now, currently, a lot of the stations are equipped with a fan in the ceiling that basically opens up and pulls that out. But the problem I have with that, as it's leaving the exhaust pipe to go out, those guys that are walking around are breathing that stuff. So basically, this system would attach to the tailpipe of the trucks. It would allow the guys to get in there, start the trucks, guys going around outside checking the compartments. So it allows all that to happen, plus pulling that exhaust out so the guys don't have to breathe it. Basically, what the system was designed to do too is, as they drive out the bay, it unhooks from the tailpipe because it runs on a track. There's a mechanism on the track that releases the magnet of that hose. That makes sense. But to me, it's just, it's for the safety of the members that we have.
I'm curious, on your exhaust, are you always exhausting, or is there an on-off? Are you guys manually exhausting, like just when it's running, or? Currently
now, no. The fan turns on. And
does it automatically do it?
Yeah. When the bay doors open, that fan cuts on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, in the wintertime, especially when it's cold outside, you open those bays, you're losing all that heat in there as well. With this type of system, you're able to keep the bay doors shut.
That's what I was thinking. You're going to save a lot of energy too.
Yes.
And
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Over 10 to 20 years,
Sure.
you're going to save a lot of money.
Yeah.
Any questions, comments? The commitment would be, it's a 90-10 match, 90 federal, 10% local. Ballpark estimates, 180,000.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So our commitment would be 18,000. Any other questions or comments, and would there be a motion?
Judge, I have a question. What about the EMS station? This is a 90% grant. Would it be prudent to add them to it also? Do they need it? I don't know.
Alvin, all the EMS stations are covered with that type of system. Good. I appreciate that because I didn't even think about that, Alvin. But that was a good question.
How many this take care of all of our stations?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
I'll make a comment, a motion. It's a no-brainer. It's a great idea, and I make a motion we do it.
Motion. Second from Rick Hostetler. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Hey, Judge, can we go back to the generators? I thought what we did was correct as far as applying for the grant, but I do think that's something that we need to proceed going forward with, especially just what happened in Stamping Ground this past week. And we need to look at going a path or even budgeting for it with the generators, backup generators going forward.
You want to move now and get pricing? And in my opinion, the smart thing is to convert those stations over that dual system like what we were talking. John, could we present like a cost estimate to do what we were talking about, just if it was funded by us?
Absolutely.
And then we present the information to the court.
Yeah.
I'd also want to include our road department.
Yeah.
It's short-sighted not including them. And then the EMS station Stamping Ground has to, it's just, we have to. So if we could work together, Mike, Chris, Corey, and you, and present that information, and then we can bring it back.
You want us to still include here at the courthouse?
Let's take care of our first responders and those first, and then we can put the courthouse maybe on budget for next year, maybe or whenever. Okay. So Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Chad, I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I was actually gonna bring up a similar question. Did they lose power at the EMS station in Stanfield?
They actually had to use the emergency release, that was the main door down there, you know, because of the power.
Yeah.
So, and the bad thing was that people didn't know how to do that, so we had to walk them through how to hit the release of the door and all that kind of stuff. So it would be great to be able to, but they never lose that power, so.
Is natural gas available there, or would we have to go with propane?
I don't know, it's just, it's natural gas. We don't have gas on Main Street, I haven't had that.
I don't believe it has gas.
I didn't have I didn't have an actual gas.
Stam Grant Elementary?
We don't have any gas.
No, we don't have that.
So if we can consolidate all that and bring it to the court, send it to me and I'll distribute it, and then we'll see where we're at.
Okay.
And I would just say, like, moving forward, anytime we build anything, it needs to have a generator. I mean, I know how it was back then.
I'll second that motion. Thank you all.
Thank you, Judge Court.
All right, Chad, thanks for bringing that up. With that said, I think we can move to 14, policy revision, emergency leave. And I'm going to ask Jeff to present the request for proposal for modification and amendment. And then also, could you briefly share about what you've done since our last meeting about a test to stay program?
Right, sure. Well, of course, this is a follow-up from the workshop, and what I'm going to be asking you to do, or my recommendation is that the editorial policy on emergency leave be that that paid leave be limited to one occasion of absence for a quarantine, which really, you know, if we do exhaust this December 31st as recommended, then there's not many days left in the month anyhow where a person could have a second quarantine period. So once again, the recommendation is that the paid leave be limited to one occasion of absence for a quarantine, and two, the rights to the emergency leave end on December 31st, 2021. So I think I'll just, if you want me to stop
there.
that.
But knowing that we have very positive news about a test to stay program that would really help with this situation and be able to put into place. What questions or comments does anyone have related to the recommendation for the amendment? Motion from Rick Hostetler. Second from Dwayne Ellison. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
Okay.
Now, if you could share about the conversations that we've had this week and what we can put in place, hopefully middle of next week.
Right. Yeah, we've had you could say a flurry of activity. We've been working with Dwayne to get in contact with MACO. We've contacted MACO and Jonathan Tucker and Ryan Niebert at that organization. They are providing testing for Scott County schools and seeing if they could also provide that similar service for us. And they can work with us. The cost would be $96 per test for a test to stay program, which is very reasonable, I think. We would have our employees who want to make use of a test to stay program go, and Dwayne offered us.
The test would be a rapid PCR.
Right.
It'd be administered at 7 a.m. You would know by 7:15. So
well, it's not a PCR. It's rapid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the.
I don't know if anybody thinking.
No, it's a rapid test, and then within 15 minutes we know, and then that individual that potentially was exposed can go to work, and that individual will be asked to wear a mask. Mm-hmm. But I'll let you go forward.
Sure. So, that would be in the guidelines that those expectations of the employee that wants to participate in this. Right now, we would be having them go to Creekside Elementary is what Dwayne suggested to us as a testing location. And, that's really the key elements of the program. And, yeah, they would have to test every day, every duty day. So if, like in EMS, it would be, every third day is a work day. So they would test before they report to work. And it would be during the normal quarantine period. So if they have to quarantine for 10 days, they would do that instead of, quarantining at home. So they would just do this test to stay program during those 10 days.
What if you don't work until like 3 o'clock? You go that morning still?
Well, good question. I think they would probably still have to go in the morning unless we work out something differently. And then the other thing we were dealing with is weekend coverage, and we're going to work with Jonathan Tucker and the group at Mako to make sure we got somebody that could do the testing on Saturday and Sunday mornings too. We might use a different site, but we'll work that out later.
Fire station, EMS station.
Right.
What questions or comments does anyone have? And I believe this is a very positive thing for our workforce.
Well, I agree with that, Judge, and even what we just motioned and passed on, it's kind of bringing things more in line with what private sector does, but still trying to protect your employees. But this is really just related to if you think you have a workplace exposure, right?
Right.
Okay, so.
Yeah, this is not.
Which would mean somebody in the department, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but somebody in any given department tests positive, and they've been around three or four other folks, I don't know, on their shift. So that would affect that kind of situation, right?
Exactly. And I was just telling Dwayne earlier about an example. Let me just kind of walk you through this real quick. So an employee comes to work who's positive, thinks they just have a sinus infection or something. Well, guess what? They end up getting tested and find out that they were positive for COVID. That's just to say hypothetically that 2 other employees that were at that station were unvaccinated. Well, guess what? Now they have to also quarantine. So we've lost not 1 person, but 3 people. And also, let's just assume that station is shared with EMS, who also has 2 people. Now, instead of losing 1, you've lost 5. And example, imagine if you were in a hospital and you had 5 nurses on the floor and you lost 5 nurses on the floor. I mean, it's a drastic impact to your organization. So this test to stay does allow us to help make sure we're able to provide the services to the community that otherwise we might not be able to do if these people have to quarantine. And I think it does have a significant impact on staffing. If we have anybody else that's off on vacation or just normally sick with something else or a surgery or a work-related incident, we're already tight staffed. Would you not say that, John? So we're trying to do what we can to provide some options to supervisors and department heads who are trying to maintain staffing, and provide these essential services to the community.
Which is critical, and that's what we should, and that's our focus. So,
yeah.
Any other questions or comments? We're moving forward with that, and we'll let the court know when that's going to be implemented, and of course, we'll communicate to department heads and staff.
Well, and since I didn't have this on the agenda, I had planned to bring this up during new business. I do have the contract that I shared with you. If you're prepared, I can come back up during new business, and we can get approval for that contract if you all are ready.
You can do it now.
We could do it now. I mean,
I don't see a reason why not.
Okay, well, that's up to you. I just want to make sure I follow the
$96
proper
per
protocol.
test, and
And I do think Jeff's looking into it. I mean, like, we don't pay for it, the testing. I don't know if there's a.
we reached out to Dr. Miller, and the pot of money that covers the education piece is only for education. So, and Jeff shared the protocol through, and Dr. Miller was very positive in her feedback. And
yeah, she shared. I didn't mention that, but we did share these guidelines with her yesterday. She got back with me this morning and said she thought they were well written. So we should get her
endorsement. And you do get a PCR. If you're going to test at our sites, you do get a full PCR test every Thursday. Okay. So,
is there a motion to approve the test to stay agreement with Mako? Motion from David Livingston. Is there a second? Second from Dwayne Ellison. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
I guess I'll stay.
You just might as well stay. This next one I think is great. It's just putting information in employees' hands and giving them access to that personal information about W-2s, along with check stubs. It's automated. They can, it's web-based. Jeff, anything else you want to add?
No, just that this is a continuation. The first year cost, I believe, was $1,750, and the ongoing cost would be $825. It's $2.50 per employee per year to make W-2s available electronically. They would go into the same portal as the pay stubs. Just in addition to the pay stub being listed, they also have W-2s. The Social Security number will not be listed on that W-2 to avoid any identity theft type issues.
Just the last 4 digits.
I don't know if even that will be.
Not even that.
Yeah. So, but there is a way that they could request one with their number, but I think probably the safest solution might be if a person absolutely has to have one with their Social Security number listed on it, they can ask Kara, and Kara can give them a copy with that social listed on it.
Jeff, is this going to be, I know that we're moving forward with a new system, so the W-2s from 2020, they'll still be paper copies, correct? But going forward, they'll all be electronic that an employee can access. How long will they sit in the database, basically? Or is it infinity, or is it,
Well, it's as long as we have a relationship with Deviant, I would think. And I would even try to go back and get like the 2021 added to this portal so that we have some historical data too. I don't think it'd be that hard. We just have to upload them. So we will have that one, 2021 now. One thing that's important is, we're making these available electronically, but there are some regulations that indicate that if you switch, and I'm not saying we need to do this, but if you switch completely to electronic, you've got to get employee consent for an electronic access. I think we should still give the person a paper copy each year, which alleviates that. So we'll still provide a paper copy, but just in addition to that, we're also going to give people electronic access.
Yeah.
And it just comes in handy. I can't tell you how often people come in they are doing a loan or something.
Yeah.
They say, well, I need my last 2 W-2s, and then it's a lot of time and effort goes into that, and I think this more than pays for itself. And also, we're just making it convenient for the employee to be able to access those things when they need them, as they need them.
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
There's a question.
So moved.
Hold up. We have a question? Would you step to the microphone, please?
Quicker.
This is just a follow-up to Chad's question for Jeff. I'm assuming since we're paying for the service, we would have ownership of those documents going forward for Infinity. Not just as long as we have a relationship with Deviant. Hopefully we'll have some kind of relationship where we have ownership, so that we can, even if we terminate our relationship with Deviant, we will have access to those. He will, relinquish those, right?
Well, they are ours. I mean, they're
Yeah.
already on our server.
Right.
We're uploading them into the portal, so we still own those.
Well, yeah,
documents.
well, that answers your question.
Yeah.
We'll always have access to those.
Yeah.
They might be paper or whatever. But
Okay.
Oh, that's a great question, because coming from somebody that asks for W-2s all the time, everybody loses their W-2s. They never have them. They have to go back to their employer. And if they've already quit or moved on to another job, they're going to be calling you guys. And if we're no longer with them, it's a real headache for them to require, a request from the IRS. So anyway,
Yeah.
good point.
Jeff, will you have them change the date to December? It has September
What date are you?
on the proposal. It says September.
Oh, okay, yes, I can. It's been in the hopper for a while.
Any other questions? Motion?
Yes, sir.
Is there a second? Kelly, you got a second? Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you all very much. That leads us to number 16. I put a call for applicants out on social media in regards to the tourism board appointment. Stacy and I have kind of dug through the wording on the bylaws, and there's 7 total members of this commission, and some of the spots are reserved for hoteliers, restaurant owner, and then chamber has a spot, and it gets us down to at large positions. The judge and the court have an appointment, and city council mayor have appointment. And what we're talking about today is a joint appointment. Both city council and the court have to approve the same names. And what I am recommending to the court is 2 names that are at-large positions and then 2 names that are hotel positions. Going back to my call for applicants, I received feedback from Risa Wright Browning and then Sherry Taylor. I shared that information with you all as well and the mayor. And then Lori Saunders had also had conversations with some folks about serving, and I shared that with you as well. So from my aspect of conversations with the mayor, what I would like to recommend is, and the mayor as well, the hotel positions be filled by Melissa Harrington and Hitesh Sheth, and then the at-large positions be filled by Risa Browning, who's a local small business owner downtown, and then Michael Blowen would be the city council mayor appointment. Michael is the director at the Old Friends, so which is a major attraction as well. What questions or comments does anyone have, and would there be a motion to accept?
Melissa is a reappointment.
Melissa would be a reappointment, yes.
I make a motion.
Motion from Dwayne Ellison. Did I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Kelly Corman. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, I put out a call as well on social media for applicants for Parks and Rec.
Really struggled, didn't you?
I really struggled here.
This one's
You're
going
breaking the bottom of the barrel.
We had one response, gentleman, and I use that term loosely, D.T. Wells. Mr. Wells has previously served on the Parks and Rec Board and currently works as district-wide athletic director and energy miser for the
All kinds of others.
and other duties as assigned for the school district. And so D.T. Wells would be my recommendation. What questions or comments does anyone have about that board appointment? Motion from Rick Hostetler.
Second.
Second from Chad Wallace. Alvin, I think Alvin actually beat you, Chad.
Okay, that's
All right.
fine.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. New business. I do want to share, yesterday at 2 o'clock, we had one applicant or one respondent for architectural services and design services for the proposed sheriff's office and clerk's satellite and EMS station. And that respondent was Branstetter Carroll. I've not gone through the document, but and won't ask you all to approve that today. But I will go through the document and bring it back to you at our next meeting on the 22nd. Any questions or comments there? Anything you all would like to have before that? And I got to have Mike Carroll here at that meeting.
So if we're going to do 2 buildings with 1 architect, do we get a discount rate?
That's a fair question. I mean, fair question. So if anything y'all want me to ask,
Probably not. Go ahead. Go out on a limb there.
Worth a shot.
but he
Wrong way to approach it.
but very comfortable and grateful that BCI is involved. I think they'll, I think they're very conscientious. I think they do a good job, and they've had a lot of experience. So I'll have that and get back with you all. At Lyle Road, they are proceeding with the site prep work, and it's moving. So grateful for that. The work redesigning the building is almost done, I think, and I think we'll have that within the next week or so to review and then possibly put back out to bid. So working on that to try to do some value engineering, and I'm confident that we can get that done. Mike is here, Corey's here, John's here, JR's here. Would any of you all like to give me an update on the tornado response? And then Alvin, Alvin personally was impacted by the tornado as well. Went out to his farm, and Alvin lost two roofs off some barns, and some equipment was impacted. But just where are we at, Mike? With I talked with Mr. Tolles yesterday, and we've officially signed and submitted request for disaster declaration. So I'll let you take it from there, Mike.
All right. As the judge said, early on in the process, we did apply for a disaster declaration, both for the city of Stamping Ground and for Scott County as a whole, trying to cover all of the houses and structures that are not part of the city of Stamping Ground specifically. Essentially, 4:22 Monday morning, had a EF1 tornado touchdown for less than 60 seconds. Did significant damage to Parker's mobile home park, and then picked up and headed on to Duval Station, where several barns and other structures were damaged. Had some trees down on Main Street. Basically it just picked up and dropped down, picked up and dropped down a couple times. As of noon on Monday, we had 25 people that were displaced from their homes, and we expected them to be out of their homes for at least 3 days. Some of them may be permanently displaced. The American Red Cross stepped up. We had 3 teams boots on the ground by noon that day, giving out financial assistance and housing assistance for the short term. And then starting today, their second phase, the long-term disaster recovery, steps in for the people that their homes are not going to be repairable. I have a meeting scheduled Monday morning with Chris Tolles and Miranda, the two business partners that own 30 of the 34 homes. We're going to get a business plan moving forward on how to demolish the structures that need to be removed, and then how to get everybody else, made whole as much as possible. There are 2 people that homes have been condemned. They are private homeowners, and they're facing big dollar amounts, somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 to reset and make their homes safe to live in. So basically, make a long story shorter, my team and I are in contact with all of the affected individuals on a daily basis. We make a personal phone call by 5 p.m. every day. What are your needs today? What has been met and what has not been met? As of 5 p.m. yesterday, there's only one trailer that said that they had any needs. It's some clothing, and that clothing has been donated to match up. When I leave here today, I've got a 16-foot trailer worth of donated stuff that's been left at my office. We're going to take that to the church and Stamping Ground, try to match that up with people who are either displaced or just affected. So I want to say thank you to all of the magistrates that have reached out to me and provided assistance or at least guidance. Mr. Ellison was huge on Monday morning. We were trying to set up a command center at the Stamping Ground Fire Station, and their generator was broken. We had no generator at the EMS station, so our thought was to move into the elementary school, and for whatever reason, their generator was down. So, but he drove through, he went all the way around Robin Hood's barn, ended up at Stamping Ground, got the generator working for us, and allowed us to do some things from there. So.
And Mike is going to officially ask FEMA about the prospects of trailers being moved in.
Right.
Mr. Tolles and I had a conversation last night with him, and he would like us to do that, and we've inquired about it already, but try to push the subject and see what response we get.
At this moment, the idea of a FEMA trailer seems kind of out of range. People that I spoke to last night said the last time a FEMA trailer was deployed was at Katrina in 2011. They've moved towards rental assistance and, cash value type deal. We'll put you in an apartment, we'll put you somewhere different rather than moving in a specific asset.
So if they say no to the trailer, can we?
If
get a
they say no
response
to
on
the
that?
trailer, then, we will
Temporary-
work towards the money.
Yeah.
But there's also an organization that I wasn't aware of till late last night. They do something similar to an Airbnb for campers. And it's a disaster relief agency where people who own campers and are willing to lend them for long-term thing, they match up the needs with the assets, and people are able to rent a trailer for as little as $1 a day. So that may be an option for me as well, but
It'd still be a temporary deal though, right?
it's definitely temporary, and that was what I was going to mention. If we did get a FEMA trailer, it's a 14-foot camper.
Right.
So considering that we were able to move a 70-foot mobile home by 10 feet or so, putting a 14-foot camper on that same location, not tied down, might not be our most effective option.
It might not be. I had the conversation. Mr. Tolles made the request.
Right, absolutely, and we're bringing everything we have to bear. It's going to be part of our meeting on Monday morning, what we can possibly do to get these people.
And you all also
Were
been
destroyed were privately owned. Is that what you're saying?
Two of them.
Were privately owned.
Right.
And they just leased the lot.
Correct.
So, when this happened, you had building inspection, you had KU, you had electrical inspection, everybody working together to try to get those folks reconnected, and those that could get back in, and we waived the electrical inspection fees.
Right.
Just trying to help,
We pulled in some personal favors with local electricians trying to get meters reinstalled. Three of the trailers have poles that are privately owned, where their meter and their weatherhead are installed. We reached out to everybody with an electrician license trying to get those things redone, and local companies stepped up.
And then, I had a conversation, maybe you know more now, but Griff Ray with Crossroads.
Right.
They have a team that's lined up to come clean up.
They've already done significant cleanup. They placed, I think it's 4 large dumpsters in the park yesterday. They were there with coffee and donuts and food within hours of the event, and they've been one-on-one with all of the people that are not displaced. They're going door to door in the trailer park. They're still affected, but they get to live there. The other agency that's really come to bear is the Southern Baptist Convention. They have a disaster team. They had 10 guys out cutting up debris, cutting trees, carting it out to the road. And then JR is going to help us with getting that debris chipped up and removed.
Well, that's what I was going to say, too. JR is going to have...
We have a full crew down there today.
You got a full crew down there today. So JR's, like on Monday, his crews were cleaning roads, Duval Station especially, and helping any way they could. But, and you had EMS out, and you had... Standing Grounds Volunteer Fire Department was heavily involved. I know, did you all respond, John?
Yeah.
And then, it was a total team effort, and I'm proud of our agencies, Mike, your all's agency, and everything you all have done, and your due diligence to see it through. So I appreciate that very much, and just doing what we should do to help our community. And then the last thing I want to mention is, there were some posts and concerns about the the absence of early warning signaling, the mass text going out or the tornado alarms. And Mike, in conversation with the National Weather Service, once they confirmed that it was a tornado, then in conversation with Mike, it was shared that there was no early warning, and that's what triggers us to trigger the tornado signal and sirens or in the mass notification. And National Weather Service has issued a statement, and I shared it on social media, that they are going to do an internal investigation to make sure they can do everything that doesn't happen again.
Right.
You want to add anything to that?
From a local point of view, that's absolutely right. At 3:45 a.m., I got a text message from the Weather Service saying that they had upgraded their level of concern about this storm. Instead of being 20-mile-an-hour winds, they thought it might be up to 50-mile-an-hour winds. But the last line in the message was action expected based on this level of concern. And the action expected was secure your patio furniture, and if you're outside, go inside. So at that point, I actually went back to sleep. I said, we go through this 20, 30 times a year. It's no big deal. And then at 4:30, a tornado, and we did what we did. The exact same conditions are coming through tonight. Somebody will be there with their finger poised over the button. We will be watching radar ourselves, not waiting for tornado watches and warnings. Basically, there are three criteria for activating our notification system. Either National Weather Service issues a tornado warning, a trained spotter, as in a first responder or something like that, actually sees the tornado, or radar indicated with a storm similar in an adjacent county. None of those three things happened last Monday, but we're going to be a whole lot more careful tonight in case, if there's anything that even looks like it might be, we're going to warn on it. I'd rather wake somebody up and then put them back to bed than go through what we just did. So.
And
Questions?
And so is like Joe Pat is the one, he's got the finger on the button, and I'm not joking.
You could have a button.
No, the real question is who is the one that activated? I'm sure that there's a backup system in place. Is it 911? Is it you?
There's a computer in my office that does that activation. The software is web-based, so that I can activate it from my phone or from my home computer. And if all of that falls down, the 911 center has the exact same system where, if they get a teletype from a different county saying that they're being affected, they have access to the tornado sirens and everything to be able to activate.
So there's,
So appreciate that clarification, and just appreciate everybody's efforts, from the road department to fire to EMA to EMS and then electrical inspection, building, and everybody working together. Alvin, you want to add anything, because your farm was impacted?
Yes, it was. We had quite a bit of damage, but we were fortunate the house had very minor damage. We had some equipment damage, but just how quick it was, my wife and I jumped up, headed to the basement. Before we got to the bedroom door, it was over. I mean, it just switched off that quick. So, it was quite a scary time.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were, right on top. Road department had roads back open pretty quickly. It's amazing how much got done so quick.
No, we're blessed. And one lady, originally nobody was transported, and we felt like there was minor injuries, but there was one person that was transported by a private vehicle that did have some significant injuries, and word that you've gotten is doing a little bit better.
Yes, she's still in ICU as far as I know, but is doing better. Significant improvement in her condition.
But so our thoughts and prayers are with all those folks and everybody that's been impacted, and we'll continue to work to try to help. Thank you all. Anyone else have any new business? Yes, Jeff Mudrack.
Yeah, as I indicated in the one email I sent you, I do have one piece of business. John Ward would like to recommend the appointment of Zach Geary as a part-time firefighter at $10.51 an hour. Zach has more than 11 years' experience as a firefighter working for Versales, and we anticipate he'll begin work sometime this month. So I present to you Zach Geary as part-time firefighter at $10.51 an hour.
Questions or comments? Is there a motion? Kelly Corman.
Second.
Rick Hosteller got it with a second. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Any other new business from anybody on the court? Or Rand?
Judge, yesterday I got a call from a Brian Martin. He's the project manager for Howell Contractors. I think they're doing work for the city to take the sewer line out to the mobile home out on Lyle Road. He wanted to know, could we close roads out there for them to do work? I told him I thought that would take an order from the fiscal court, and I told him we would need the dates and times and the roads. I assume those. I assume the roads out in the trailer park on Lyle Road are county roads, aren't they, JR?
I don't think they are.
No,
Are they private? Yes. Oh, okay.
yeah.
So he needs to get with whoever. Does the bank own that out there?
There's a group, was it CR?
I think the best
2000,
route
whatever.
is
Yeah.
I think we need to contact GMWSS and Andrew Hartley.
Okay. Well, that's what I'll tell him to do then. I'll tell him they're not county roads.
Yeah.
And that he probably should get with Andrew.
All right.
Okay. Never mind.
All right.
Probably the only county road to be that might be involved would be Lyle Road, wouldn't it?
No, Lyle Road's a state
Is that
road.
state road? There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Same conversation I have with JR all the time.
Any other questions or any other business? Our next meeting will be on the 22nd at 9 a.m. That's a special meeting due to the Christmas Eve conflict with our regular meeting. So we'll be there, and then got the Toyota Classic going on this weekend, and all kinds of activities around the holidays. So everybody be safe, and if no other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second by Kelly Corman? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.